Bob Mills Weather Center Oklahoma weather expert, Jed Castle.
I want to show you back to yesterday because the heat indexes were out of control. 126 in the Pauls Valley area. That is a record-breaking heat index for Pauls Valley. Look at all the heat indexes elsewhere across the state. Many spots up above 110. Many areas also above 115. There were some spots also near 120. More numbers like that across southern Oklahoma yesterday. Far west, northwest Oklahoma, not as hot.
Hey everybody, Rob here from BigRobsVan, and I've got good news and bad news for you this week. The bad news is that it's 116 degrees in Oklahoma City, and I will not be doing any stealth camping in my van tonight. But the good news is it's only 96 degrees in my workshop. So, you know, part of dealing with van life, and by the way, I have said this before, and I want to make this clear. I don't live in my van full time. I'm barely in it part time. I'm hardly ever in it at all, to be honest with you. So when it is 100 plus degrees outside, I have the luxury of parking in my driveway and coming right back into my house. But a lot of people don't. And so as I prepare to start going on more trips in the van, I know that dealing with the heat is something I'm gonna have to do and something that a lot of you guys who hang out in your vans have to do as well. So, just so happens that last weekend was Amazon Prime weekend, and I purchased two things that I wanna show you that I think may, or maybe not, help you get through the summer heat. If you have any doubts about how hot it is in Oklahoma right now, lizards from the desert are migrating here. Now, before I show you these two items, I want to point out two things to you. The first is you will notice that there are no wires connected to either one of these things. Obviously, I probably could have run some wires behind here, but I'm being honest with you. There are no wires connected to either one of these devices. How is that possible? We're going to talk about that. The other thing is that both of these items, at the moment that I'm showing them, are worth the same amount of money. This fan normally sells for about $55 on Amazon, but during the Amazon Prime sale, I was able to pick it up for $40. This Arctic Air also sells in stores and on Amazon for about $40. Now, I happen to get this free, not from the company, but my sister-in-law purchased this and gifted it to me when she saw me hanging out in the van and watched me sweat profusely for about 2 hours. So anyway, same price on both of these, $40 and $40. Again, I believe this has gone back up to $55. But you know, it's like Amazon, like anything, watch it for a while, it may go on sale. This is the Arctic Air 2.0. That means there was a previous 1.0. There is currently, I believe, a 3.0 already, so we'll talk about that. So this one you may be able to find a little bit cheaper as well. Let's talk about this one first. This is a fan I purchased off of Amazon. I will put the link down in the details. It is from one of those companies that has more consonants than vowels in their name. It's one of those made-up Chinese companies that is purchasing things and then selling them through their Amazon store. But so who makes it is not really important. What it is and what it does is much more important to me. This is a combination of multiple things. Number one, obviously, it's a fan. But if you can see this giant base at the bottom, this is a 20,000 milliamp battery. This is just like those USB batteries that you purchase that can charge and recharge different items. That makes this really useful, especially in a van type situation. It also has lights, and it also has a couple of other surprises. So let's take a look at everything this fan does. Now, right off the bat, you will see there are buttons here across the front. The buttons operate everything. One button that is missing is an off button. So for example, when you press the button to put the fan on low, there's a medium, there's a high, there's a super high. There are 4 fan settings, and then you press it another time and it turns off. But there's no button to just turn everything off. Now you think it's not really a big deal, and maybe it's really not a big deal, but it's irritating when you have the lights at one level, the fan at a different level, and you want to turn everything off. And then you might say to yourself, that would be difficult to do, but it's not. It's very easy to do. It must have been very easy to do, and I'll explain that in just a moment. This fan rotates easily. You can see I can spin it manually by my hand. It also rotates all the way around like 270 degrees maybe. So you can position it to point any way that you want. I'm going to turn the controls this way towards me and the fan here just to show you that the first button turns on the lights. So there are the lights in the low setting, the medium setting, the high setting, and then back to 0. By the way, you'll notice that beep that happens every time that something changes. As far as I know, there's no way to disable that. So not a big deal if you are in an enclosed van by yourself, but if you were camping and you didn't want to bother somebody, I don't know a way to disable that. Next is the fan. Again, there are 4 settings. On the low setting, there are 2 different fan blades in here, and there's something where I think that says there's a push-pull technology. So there's pushing air this way, pulling air that way. But once you, that's the second level. I don't know if that really comes through on the over the camera or through the microphone. But if I turn it like that, I mean, it's blowing pretty well. It feels nice in this 96 degree room. Ridiculous. So again, to turn that off, you'd hit the fan a 5th time and it goes back to 0. So again, to turn everything off, you've got to cycle everything back through. It has a couple other interesting buttons. One here is a night mode, and what the night mode does is turn off all the LEDs. So there's a LED that shows your current battery charge, and there are LEDs that show what the fan speed is, and if you press the night mode, it turns those off. So you know, I guess that's interesting. Let's get into some of the other interesting features here. Number 1, on this side, if you can see these buttons, this holds the remote. So we get a remote with this fan, and we have all the same options available to us. We can turn the fan on, and we can put it on level 2. But if you notice on the remote, we could go down. We could slow it down from here. Back to 1, back to 0. Those are things you can't do from the unit itself. You have to use the remote. Also, on the remote, there's an off button. So if you have the fan going and you have the lights on, all you have to do is press this off button and it turns everything off. Why they didn't add that button on here, I don't really know. It would have been handy, but I am nitpicking a little bit because it's easy to get around. So we have all those features. It says that it works. This must be converted from metric because it says it works from a distance of 16.4 feet. So that doesn't sound like someone actually tried that. It sounds like that's a metric conversion. Let's take a look at the other side here, and you will see this little waterproof, water-resistant cover. I've left it unplugged because this thing is really difficult to get out. I've had to use either a key or a knife to pop this thing out. I assume that this will loosen over time, but right now it's a really tight fit. And then right here you can see there's a USB-C and a USB-A charging port. Now to charge this, you have to use the USB-C port, but it also works as an out, as does the USB-A. So you are sitting in your van, you don't have any power, maybe it's a day you're not getting any solar power, you want to run a fan, you can run this fan and maybe charge your phone at the same time. 20,000 milliamp battery pack is a pretty decent sized battery pack. I have several that are 10,000, which are obviously smaller ones, and then a couple that are 20,000, and you could get several phone cycles through a charge. So if I were going to take this out for a weekend, obviously it depends on how much you're going to use the lights, and the battery will tell you how much use you're going to be able to get out of this. I believe it says on the website you could get up to 100 hours if you're just using the fan in the lowest setting. Obviously that's gonna go way down if you're using the lights. But I have had this on the highest setting and left it running overnight for 8 hours and woke up and it's still running. So I may have to do some tests to see how much use you can actually get out of a single charge. But again, you can plug something into the USB-C. You can plug this into your battery, into your car to keep it running, to recharge this. You can use this to recharge things, or you can use it to run other USB-C devices. Keep that in mind for a moment. one other thing. I will tell you this, that the fan is very bottom heavy, which is usually a good thing. You know, that means that this battery weighs a lot. I believe Amazon says this weighs 3.5 pounds. I mean, this has to be at least 3 pounds, and this has to be almost nothing, because this part is very light, which makes it awkward to carry with one hand. I can't really I mean, I can, but it's almost like palming a basketball. It is very wide and thick. I don't know if you can see this, how wide your grip has to be to grab this. And the bottom is very heavy and it can turn. So it makes it really awkward to carry like this. I really don't recommend it. But there's one other feature that I haven't shown you, and it is hidden on the bottom of the unit. And that is this folding hook. This hook spins out and rotates around like this. So now if you're in your van, you can hang this somewhere, and now you've got your fan. You can hang this up. You can have this pointed down. You can have lights going. Very, very useful. I could see keeping this in my van for using it for the fan. I could see using it for charging things. I think this thing is a winner. It's a winner to me at $40. I don't know that it's a winner at $55. You just have to decide on that. But I would say beforehand, what I was doing was running a 120 volt, you know, like a normal house fan off of my fake brand Jackery batteries, and it was running it down quite a bit. So this would definitely save me money in the long run. This will be a keeper. I will definitely use this. Now let's talk about the other item, the Arctic Air 2.0. This is direct from this is the plug that comes with it. We're going to talk about the plug. This comes from the As Seen on TV. It has the logo right there. They have commercials for this, and the commercials promise a lot.
What you need is Arctic Air Pure Chill, the new personal space cooler that super cools your place in just seconds. Just add water and turn it on. Pure Chill is whisper quiet for the most comfortable night's sleep with fresh, chilled air. Look, using thermal imaging, you can actually see it cool down the air by 20 degrees. Amazing! Place Pure Chill in the garage and never break a sweat. Stay cool while you cook, and finally breathe easy as Pure Chill cools and humidifies your room. The secret? Our advanced water delivery system, combined with Hydro Chill technology to turn hot, unbearable heat into cool, refreshing air.
Now, I don't know anything about Hydro Chill technology or any of that.
Hydro Chill technology.
But let me explain to you what this is. And I think the important thing about these is, right off the bat, managing expectations. This is not an air conditioner. It looks like an air conditioner. They have packaged this to look like an air conditioner. They want this to look like an air conditioner, but this is not an air conditioner. This is an evaporation cooler. Back in the day, we used to call these swamp coolers. So how does this actually work?
Hydro Chill technology.
There are a couple of components here. One is this top piece that opens. The other is this piece that slides out. So let me do those two things here. And inside this top piece is this plastic guard which holds a filter. So what is this actually doing? First, to use this device, you have to fill it with water. There is a big container here. If you want to make it work more efficiently, you can also soak this in water, and I'm telling you up front, the colder the water, the better off this thing functions. So soak this in water, place it back here in the guard. We're gonna do that in just a moment. Actually, I don't need to soak it because we're just gonna, if you soak it, it will work better. We're gonna close that. The second thing is you're gonna fill this up with water. Now, it just so happens, because it's 96 degrees, I have brought some ice water here. So this will probably go everywhere, and you can actually put the ice cubes right in there if you want. So you can see on the side, there's this clear thing all the way around, so we can see what the water level is right here, so that's helpful. Although, I mean, the worst thing if you overfilled it, it's just going to come out this hole. So it's not the end of the world. And this goes, I mean, this is how this is attached. It's not like that's not hard to come off. Okay, now we have a few buttons on here. We have on, off. We have a thing to control the lights. We have a fan boost, and there's a little mister thing. But what is this actually doing?
Hydro chill technology.
What this is doing is the water is going to evaporate. It's going to go through this filter, and the back of this is a fan. And it's going to blow air across that water through the vents in the front. Now, you might be saying to yourself, couldn't I just get a bowl of water and put a fan behind it? Yes. That is literally what this is doing. Do not expect miracles from this. I am a little stunned with what they could get away with saying on the commercial. That you're gonna cool a room, that you're gonna cool your house, that you're gonna cool anything larger than a broom closet. That seems sus to me.
You can even take it outside to beat the summer heat.
What it is doing is blowing air over water. The water evaporates and you will get that effect. Now, I have watched several YouTube videos of people who have tested this with thermometers and thermostats, and it had no effect more than about a foot away. There was a little bit of an effect if you're closer than a foot away. One of the things that you have to know, though, if you've been in van life for a while, you know about Mr. Buddy heaters, and everyone says they are terrible because they add humidity to the inside of your van, and having humidity inside your van can lead to rust and mold and things like that. Okay, that's what this is, a humidity machine. I mean, that's what this is doing. It is taking water out of this and putting the water in the air. On several YouTube demonstrations, you can see by turning this off, you can watch the humidity in the room slowly start to climb. And it does that because that is literally what it is doing. So I want to show you how this works, but before I do that, I want to talk about one difference between the Arctic Air 1.0 and this version, which is the Arctic Air 2.0. The Arctic Air 1.0 had a proprietary plug, a little tiny plug that plugged into the back and plugged into a normal home wall socket. If you lost that, I think they were difficult or expensive to replace. They weren't like a normal connector, so that was a problem. One of the things they have changed on this version, which is the 2.0, is that it does still come with a wall plug, but you'll notice that the other end of it is USB-C. USB-C plug is right here on the back. Now, I have my own USB-C plug, and we're gonna plug one end into this, but we're gonna plug the other end into the other fan. This is plugged into the fan now. This is plugged in to the Arctic Air cooler. And we'll see right off the bat, it is working. Now, you can adjust these little louvers on the front. There are a few features on here. The first one that is the most important is that you can change the color of these lights. Now, I like the blues and the whites because it mentally, even the purple's not bad, makes me feel like I'm cool. I don't like the red. The green makes me think this is full of algae water. And then there's one that will just slowly cycle through all the colors if that's your bag. I don't know how much entertaining you plan on doing in your van with your small swamp cooler, but if all your friends are gathered around to watch the colors, this will do that. We've got some different features over here. We have a mister, which we can turn on. We have also this boost level. We can do that and it will do even more. It will blow a little bit harder. But the one thing that I do like about this is that the minute you turn it on, everything is set to max. When you turn this on, the fan is all the way up. You can turn it down but you don't have to turn it up. The same thing goes with the cooling levels. There's a level 2, a level 1, and then a level 0, which I assume is just the fan. But again, I think most people that would buy this are desperate to be cooled off. So the people making this know that, and they don't start at the low end, they start at the high end and let you work your way down. Now, one thing I would like you to hear is the sound that this fan is making. And again, I'd like to think back to that commercial when they said that it was nearly silent. As you can hear, this thing is not nearly silent. It's pretty far from silent, and it is nowhere near as silent as this fan was. In fact, this fan is on low right now, and you can't hear it at all. So, not silent, but pretty. And I mean, it has LEDs, and gosh, if you're trying to start a disco, you could have the lights on this one going, the lights on this one going, you could have a whole party. Now, here's the bottom line. How well does this work? And I'm gonna give you 2 answers. I'm gonna give you 3 answers. Number 1, will this cool a room? No. Will this cool your house? No. Will it cool your entire van? I don't think so. I mean, the effect of this is so localized. I just don't think you're gonna get that kind of cooling in an entire area. Now, the second thing is, will it make you feel cooler? And there's a difference. There's a difference between making a room cooler, which technically means dropping the temperature, and making your face feel cooler. And I'll tell you this, when I turn this thing around and I have this water in here and I have these louvers pointed at my face and I'm 6 to 8 inches away from it, or less than a foot away, I feel cooler than when it's not blowing on me. So is it lowering the temperature in this little zone? Probably not. But does it make it more comfortable for me right here? It kind of does, you know? So I would say, now, would I pay $40 for this? No, I don't think that I would. And I have seen these at garage sales for $5. So would I pay $5 for it? Yeah, probably. Because at the end of the day, this is a USB powered fan that's blowing air through this thing. So would I pay $5 for a USB fan? Sure. One of the annoying things about having fans is you can't stack things on top of them. But look at this big flat surface. I can stack things on it. I could put a charger on here. I could put whatever, you know. So, you know, just to have this this form factor for a fan, I think is okay. But let me issue one other caveat. This thing is blowing pretty cool right now. I think you get the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. There's a slow down mode. There's another slow down mode. And then if we press this another time, it will completely turn off. The way to get the optimal use out of this thing is to put cold water in here. The way to squeeze every ounce of cooling out of this is it suggests taking this filter out of the front, taking this, soaking it in water, and then freezing it. And then it would be blowing this fan through this, which is frozen water. So yeah, that would be like taking a block of ice and putting it in front of this fan. I mean, it's not, there's no magic to it. I mean, once you take the drawer out and look, you can see what's in here. There's a fan and that's it. I mean, it's not, and then there's this thing, a reservoir that holds water. So, you know, there's nothing magic to it really.
Hydro chill technology.
So do you want a fan that will blow cold water through a filter box? I mean, that's really what you got to decide. Not an air conditioner, not you know, anything magic going on here. So you got to kind of know what you're getting into. So at the end of the day, would I buy this again for $40? I actually would. I think that having a fan, number one, that can plug into any USB device. I could plug it into this. I could plug it into the 12-volt adapter in my dash. If you have your USB ports in your van or a Jackery or something like that, you can run this. But you're also charging this battery, which means you could take this thing somewhere else. You could go set it on a picnic table. You could set it next to you when you're outside eating or something and still have a fan going. The other thing that I like about it is, again, this hook on the bottom. You can take this, hang it up somewhere. You've got a lantern. If you turn the light on, you'd have a lantern. You have a fan. So I think this has $40 worth of use and convenience in it. Would I buy this Cool Air, Arctic Air device? For $40, I would not. I would not pay $40 for this. But I do like the fact that it can run off of a USB port, so that's nice. If I saw this at a garage sale for $10, I would probably pick it up for $10 or less. $20 is pushing it. I certainly wouldn't pay $40. But I will show you, this one does have one feature that will cool you down in a hurry that this one does not have.
Hydro chill technology.
Yeah, that works great.